Hello everyone, this is Leo from the Monkeys Making Misplays channel. I apologize for no upload on Monday. I was trying to figure out what we wanted to do. Um, and I did come up with a series, but it is going to take a bit of time to get done. So to hold off for right now, we're going to do some card reveals for set 13. I know we haven't really done card reveals before, but I really like uh, Dragontree as a deck, and this is the first grade 11. So I think it deserves to get at least its own video. And then for Friday's video, I don't know if I will do a maybe I'll do something similar for the Alden um what is it? The Alden ride line that just came out, right? He's also in set 13, and I was thinking about doing that too. But for right now, let's talk about the new Dragontree Grade 11. This unit is crazy. I honestly I thought that Dragontree was done and that they weren't going to do anything more with it. But apparently it's going to continue being the big bad of the anime. And they're giving it support. So the original Dragontree was grade 10. This one is grade 11, which means it's gone up a grade. It still only has Twin Drive, which is strange. You would think that since it's uh, gone up and it's a grade 11, I mean, grade 4s have Triple Drive, but this thing only has Twin Drive, which is strange. Also, it doesn't have Persona Ride, so you can't perform Persona Ride anymore, which again is weird, but it does get a decent amount of power. So let's talk about its effect real quick. So when you play it by writing, you get a Griffo Escatalugi token. I don't know how to pronounce that correctly into your order zone, right? We'll talk about the token after this, but for right now, let's just move on. So during your turn, it gets plus 10 in a crit, so it'll be 28k with a critical, right? That's pretty good. I mean, it's already an 18k base. That's 5 over. That's yeah, 5 over what a normal Vanguard is at. And then if the total number of Hydrogrum and Dragontree markers on your rear circle is 10 or more, this unit gets plus 10, and that's active on both opponents on both your turn and your opponent's turn. That's an interesting effect for me because almost all the cards, we'll talk about it in later on, almost all the cards don't let you stack Dragontree markers except for one of them, which sort of allows you to do it. Um, so you're gonna have to play a lot of the Dragontree units themselves, which I'll talk about as well. Which how many we have for each nation. But that's super strong if you can get that effect to happen. I mean, it'll be a 28k. That's insane. A 28k. Your opponent is gonna have a super hard time hitting this because the units have to be way higher than they would normally, right? And you're gonna be able to just keep a lot more shield. Maybe you're gonna live longer to get his effect off. And if you remember the original Dragontree, he could use the over trigger, and when you did, he would resend all rear guards, right? And this grade 11 version has that same effect, where when he attacks a Vanguard, you remove a Calamity card that's face up in your right deck from the game, and then if you were unable to remove a card, you choose a trigger unit. This is where the effect changes compared to the old one. The original one specifically asked for the over trigger, but this one just says a trigger unit from your right deck, reveal it and activate all of its trigger effects and additional effects, remove it from the game, and then you stand all of your rear guards on rear guard circles with Dragontree markers, right? So you might be wondering, well, how do I get other triggers in there besides the OT, right? Because the grade 0 only allows you to put the OT in there. Well, I think it's time we move on to the order so we can understand a little bit more of how they want this deck to play. So this is the token for the order. I don't know if you're gonna have to play it, but it's gonna come out in the trial deck. You'll be able to probably get at least you only probably need like one or two, right? You're not gonna be wanting to write over um, the grade 11 probably not, but it would be effective to be able to write it. But I think this deck is going to have a lot of power right away, and it's going to be a little bit hard for you to get to the end game without just outright killing your opponent, right? If you can survive to this grade 11 and a turn after that, I think you're pretty much guaranteed yourself the game, right? But let's talk about the effect of this set, because this is a set order. So while it's in the order zone, and at the beginning of your main phase, you can search your deck for one trigger unit. So this is how you put them into the right deck. And if you put a card, you choose a Hydrogram from your drop, and you may call it to rear guard. This is an incredible effect. It deck thins your deck of triggers, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it gets you a unit for free, right? You do want to be able to stack a lot of these. I just don't think you'll probably get the chance to, because either you've completely overrun your opponent, or you've died, right? This deck doesn't have a lot of strength in the early game, and its strength comes from the end game, so to speak, right? And then its other effect is an activated ability that you can only activate once per turn per copy. So if you have multiples, like I was saying, you can activate them again multiple times. You have to discard a card with Griphogila, which is only the grade 11 and the grade 10. I don't believe the grade 0 has that name. Um, I can confirm very quickly. But if you do that, you can draw a card, choose one of your rear guards, or choose one of your rear guard circles, and put a Dragontree marker. So now we have a second effect that is able to put Dragontree markers on circles that already have them, which was a drawback. We'll talk about that when I go into the next units. Um, but a big drawback was that you couldn't stack Dragontree markers because it'd be really strong. I mean, the Dragontree markers themselves give your units a plus 10k permanently, or a plus 5k per copy, right? So if you could stack them, it'd be impossible to hit your rear guards too, because they'd be giant. But clearly, Bushiroad is very interested in making this deck very strong, right? And then you can put the top card of your damage zone of your deck into your damage zone face down to choose a face-up Calamity card from your right deck and remove it. That is crazy. This means you can get the OT effect almost an entire turn earlier than you would normally, because you'll be going into the grade 10 first, right? Because you obviously have to. That if the effect that gets you into the grade 10 happens during the right phase, so I don't believe you'll be able to ride it into the 11 that turn, right? So you'll be on the grade 10 for a turn, swing, move one of the face-up calamities out of the game, right? Then you'll go into the 11, get this order, use the effect of the order, get rid of another one, and then swing with your Vanguard, get rid of the last one, and now you have access to the OT on the next turn, which I think is insane. Also, it being an additional effect, which means you can just pitch to draw and put a Dragontree marker without having to do that effect, which you're gonna do once you get to that point. That's why I think this deck is gonna not gonna go too long in the end game, because it's gonna pretty much steamroll you once it gets there, right? I think this order is incredible. I love Dragontree, so I am very interested in picking up these cards when they come out. I try to pick up all the ones that I can, right? But now let's talk about some of the cards that are Hydragrum, excuse me, which we'll talk about right now. So currently we have 7 available in English, right? Those being the original set of grade 1 cycle, which all get you a Dragontree marker for a rear guard when placed on rear, but it have to be a circle that doesn't have a Dragontree marker on it, and then they have their individual effects. Then you have the grade 2s, which currently we only have 2 available in English, which are the Dark States and the Stoichea one, which were for a Counterblast and a Soul Blast, would do the same effect as the grade 1, except they would also get you the Mask of Hydragrum. Then the grade 2 for Brandgate is coming out in set 12, and then we have the grade 3, or the grade 2 for Keter that is also coming out in set 13 alongside these other cards. I looked to see if there was a Dragon Empire one, but currently I couldn't find one. They might reveal one maybe after this video. I don't think we have a mask unit in Dragontree, so that's probably why they're waiting. I can't remember if there's a mask unit in Keter either, but I've got to assume that they're gonna do something. I mean, they introduced Alden, which is interesting. But yeah, so these are the options you have right now, right? So for when set 13 releases, unless a Dragontree or Dragon Empire one is revealed, you're probably going to play either Dark State, Stoicheia, Brant, or Keter. In my opinion, you probably play Keter. It has a lot of more defensive options as well as the ability to call rear guards and stuff. Although Stoicheia wouldn't be a bad choice either. Brant is a little rough because a lot of the cards require you to have set orders, which since almost none of them are zeros, you're gonna have a real hard time activating effects and such. But you could always try it. And for Dark States, I mean, the issue there is that when you ride up to the grade 10, it removes all but one card from your soul, so you end up with only one soul. And since a lot of the cards want you to have like a lot of soul, it's a little rough, right? But these are the units, so counting the grade 1 and the grade 2 respectively, you'd have 4 copies of each, right? So you have 8, right? And then you'll have the 4 copies of the grade 10 and the 4 copies of the grade 11, giving you a total of 16 cards that would be Hydreigon, which would help you towards the count of having the 10 to give your Vanguard an extra 10 during your opponent's turn, right? And then let's talk about some last couple cards here, which are the Mask of Hydreigon, which I still don't believe you'll play it in the Dragontree deck because it just checks up 5 for a Dragontree unit or a mask card, but you're not playing mask cards in this deck, so you can't use that second effect, right? So it's not a great card, especially because it doesn't have any shield. So if the Mask of Hydreigon is great for mask decks, obviously, but outside of it, it's not really worth it, especially or outside of like a mask deck and in a pure Dragontree deck, so to speak, not really worth it. Um, so it's also, I think it's still like 16 bucks, 20 bucks. So I wouldn't recommend it. But a card that I would recommend is the Grade Zero that will be coming out in set 11, which comes out I think maybe 2 weeks from now. And that's Fire Beacon of the Erosion. This is a card that allows you to stack Dragon Tree markers in a roundabout way, right? So it's a blitz order that you can only play if your Vanguard is a Hydreigon. So your grade 0 is a Hydreigon. That's why this order is grade 0. You choose a rearguard circle without any Dragon Tree markers. Choose one of your units that being attacked. Wait, did I write that effect wrong? I think I did. God damn it. I messed up that effect. I apologize. Choose one of your rearguard circles without Dragon Tree markers. You would put a Dragon Tree marker, then you choose one of your units being attacked, and it gets plus 10 until the end of the battle. And then if you have Vanguard with Griphogila in its card name, it gets plus 20k instead of plus 10. The way this gets around because obviously it says right there on the order or on the effect that you have to choose something without it. While that is true that it says specifically you can't stack it right on the blitz order, you are, however, able to put Dragon Tree markers on rearguard circles that already have them when you activate the effect of the grade 0. Because when you activate his effect to ride into the grade 10, it simply says you can play 2 Dragon Tree markers on rearguard circles, right? So you'll be able to have 4 or 5, right? Let's say you're able to play the multiples of these grade 0 blitz orders before you get there. So you'd be able to stack them up, so you'd be able to get at least, like, let's say 4, right? And then after that, you can fill out the rest of the rearguard circles. That'll get you to 7, right? And then now you only need 3 Hydreigon units, which is a lot less than you would need normally, right? You still are going to have a rough time getting to 10 markers, right? You're still not going to be able to do that. You'll still need the Hydreigon rearguards to sit there, which is going to be a little rough because there is a lot of retire and removal in the format. But if you can just rush them down once you're at 10, it is going to be insanely hard for them to do anything to you. But with that, I think I'll leave you. I think that the Dragontree deck is shaping up to be probably a very strong contender. Uh, if it continues to get support like this, it is going to be definitely something that you're going to have to look out for, especially because it can be built in any nation, right? That makes it insane. You'll probably stick to the main five, but I still believe that this deck is super strong, and I think this one new card has made it insane. Right now, you can activate triggers besides the over trigger whenever you feel like it, right? Which is insane. But I think I'll leave it up to you. This has just been a little quick, helpful source for you in case you were interested in learning about the Dragontree cards that were just revealed. But with that, I'll leave you. This has been Leo. Have a nice day.